Force, Jump Force, Jump Force. I feel like every other week we have something to say about Jump Force, but this honestly is probably one that's going to have the community to split by far the most out of anything that happened with the game. From the first day it was revealed, to when people were debating whether or not they liked the designs, to the actual release, figuring out whether you're not having fun with the game, to today, the DLC leak. Now, before I start, a couple disclaimers I want to toss out there. Number one, if you want to see the video for yourself that Sergio Data mined, he kind of breaks down everything that he found. I will have a link in the description below. Number two, this is not 100% confirmed. I will point out that in the past, every time stuff was data mined, it was always accurate. It was never wrong to this day.
To this day!
But, so it's a little disclaimer to toss out there, because for all you know, this could be stuff that they planned, that they decided to scrap, and for all we know, the DLC is going to be completely different once it gets actually revealed. So here's the characters, okay? And I'll give you my overall thoughts about why I'm not a big fan of the list. Now, I want to point out, some of you guys might love this list. If you grew up on these series, if these series are your favorite, you might love these characters, which is fine. By all means, enjoy what you enjoy. Prosper. If you're having fun in Jump Force, go play the hell out of it. That's fine. No one's telling you need to stop. But this is kind of my overall grip with it and why I'm not a big fan of it. So the characters are Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh!, Toshiro from Bleach, we got Biscuit from Hunter x Hunter, we got All Might from My Hero, we got Grimmjow from Bleach, we got Majin Buu from Dragon Ball. I'm not sure if that means like Kid Buu, Super Buu, or just regular Majin Buu. Boo's coming. We got Bakugo from My Hero, we got Madara from Naruto, and then Law from One Piece. Now here's my biggest, I guess, issue with the list. I'll go over all the separate characters as well. But my biggest issue with this list is Jump Force is supposed to represent 50 years of Weekly Shonen Jump. And by the way, before you're like,
why aren't they releasing Saitama or Natsu or so-and-so?
They're not Weekly Shonen Jump. Weekly Shonen Jump is a specific series. It caters to specific characters. That's why you're not going to get characters like Natsu or Saitama or even people from like Tokyo Ghoul. People keep asking about that. I do want to kind of make that clear. Now, back to what I was saying. Jump Force is supposed to be a celebration for 50 years of Weekly Shonen Jump. Weekly Shonen Jump has been around so long, and their 50-year celebration is supposed to be a game that kind of encapsulates all that. Instead, what we ended up getting, and this is kind of what I talked about in my last video, what we ended up getting was kind of like a half-assed game that just kind of like spits in the face of the fans of the series. Us, all of us. Whether you only grew up with Dragon Ball or One Piece, or you watch all that stuff, in a way, everybody kind of has an issue with Jump Force. Specifically, like I said, my issue is just the characters that they decided to throw into the game from the start. Now, the thing what Jump Force does, Jump Force is supposed to represent a game where you just pick your favorite character that you grew up with. You toss them into these fantasy fights against your friends where it's like Goku versus Luffy, Naruto versus, I don't know, Hiei, Yusuke versus Deku, I guess. You kind of mix and match these characters and you have these fantasy fights. It's not like a super complex game, but it's one of those fun ones where you just kind of toss out super attacks, you link combos together, and then call it a day. It's not supposed to be super crazy in depth, but it's just a fun game. That's what J-Stars was. That's what Jump Ultimate Stars was. That's what Jump Stars was. Those games were just kind of fun. Jump Force tried to take that formula, and they kind of like, they took what those games in the past established, but they tried to take it to the next level, but then they kind of, they didn't really nail it as far as gameplay. And on top of that, the last saving grace of the game were the characters where a lot of your favorite characters probably didn't make it into it. In fact, most of the characters in the game were like One Piece characters or Dragon Ball characters. I love Dragon Ball, but I don't think they should have so many Dragon Ball characters in there. Trunks should have been in that game. Cell should have been in that game. As much as I love those characters, I literally have a Trunks and I have a bunch of Trunks figures and Cell figures behind me. I love those characters, but I still don't think those characters should have been in the game. Now, what the perfect Jump Force roster to me would have looked like is something that we saw in J-Stars, but to the next level. Because I feel like J-Stars had a good, healthy balance of characters. You had like a handful of Naruto characters, a handful of One Piece characters, Dragon Ball characters, Yu Yu Hakusho characters. Even One Piece had Hunter x Hunter had a decent placement in J-Stars. So I think my biggest issue with Jump Force is just looking at what the past game did. And by the way, this is a sequel. I had people debate me that this is not a sequel, but it is. Spike Chunsoft made J-Stars. Spike Chunsoft also made Jump Force. It is not a good sequel. Now, if you want to celebrate it, you know, just a regular ass year or Shonen Jump, whatever. But remember, this is 50 years. 50 years of Weekly Shonen Jump, and when they released the final roster, it mostly ended up being Naruto, One Piece, and then Dragon Ball, which again makes sense. Those were like the biggest selling manga of all time. I get it. But at the same time, this doesn't represent Weekly Shonen Jump at all, at least in my opinion. Now, if you love those series, you might love the character roster, which again, you're allowed to like what you're allowed to like. Don't let my opinion sway you. Don't let anyone's opinion sway you. If you go home every single day from school or work, whatever, and you hop on Jump Force and you have fun, by all means, prosper, enjoy the game. But I'm just looking at the roster and I'm just like, why was Kaguya in there from Naruto instead of someone like Madara. Madara was in the last game, which, by the way, Madara is a DLC character. We talked about that in my last video. In my last video, I mentioned if the DLC is a saving grace and they don't have old characters from J-Stars, great. But looks like we have to pay for Madara, who's a used character. You know what the equivalent of having to pay for Madara and Jump Force is? It's like going to Target or whatever, you know, store that's around you. It's like you go into a store and you buy in a game and they give you a used game. At a regular department store, they give you a used game. You ask for a new game, it's like, no. Here, take this used game. Is just as good. But you're buying a used character, a used game on full price. That's essentially what we're getting here. Madara was in the last game. They still have the assets from the last game that they literally just rescanned, updated a little bit, and tossed it in here, and they're reselling it to us. Now, if they had Madara in the game from the start, instead of like Kaguya, for example, sure. I think it would have been great. I mean, I feel like Kaguya would have been a horrible DLC character, but I wouldn't mind if we had Kaguya as a DLC character as long as we had Madara in the start. Let's go down this list. Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! I think Kaiba is by far my favorite character on this list. And by the way, let me know your thoughts as well in the comment section below what you think about these characters. Because like I said, for all I know, a lot of you guys will love the roster. A lot of you guys might hate the roster. We all might have different opinions. Let me know down below how you guys feel about that. But Kaiba, honestly, is one of my favorite characters on the list because Yugi, this is my breakdown. Yugi, Jotaro, and Dio are by far the my most favorite characters in Jump Force. I love how unique they are and how they basically fight with their stands, or I guess in Yugi's case, he fights with his cards. I think Kaiba is a good addition. But I also feel like Kaiba should have been in the beginning of the start of the series, because, like, again, if you're gonna toss in all these like regular ass characters from the other shows to kind of fluff up the roster size, and then sell us basically the other important characters of these series, it just doesn't make sense for 50 years of Weekly Shonen Jump celebration. You see what my point? My point here is the only reason I'm even ranting about this is because I feel like some of these characters should have been in the game from the start. I mean, good news is most of these characters are not being resold from J-Stars, but at the same time, it's like they could have still, some of these could have still been in there. Toshiro from Bleach, I don't have really much to say. I know a lot of guys love Bleach. I was always kind of neutral about Bleach, but I think Toshiro is a good option, so is Grimmjow. Beastki is the one that pisses me off the most. As somebody who's consumed so much of Hunter x Hunter over the course of the last couple years, I read the manga, I rewatched the series several times. I love Hunter x Hunter. Why is Beastki the character that chose to do instead of like Meruem, Chrollo? Think about it. Chrollo could have been the most unique character in the entire Jump Force roster, and instead it gave us Beastki. Why? Or even Meruem, or even Pito, like the Royal Guard. You had so many options, and instead we got Beastki. I don't understand that one at all. And think about it, I feel like Beastki was actually probably considered to be part of the main roster, and they decided, hey, let's just sell her. But then it's like, who here actually likes Beastki? I mean, I like Beastki's character in the series, but it's like, as DLC, I don't know about that much. I'm honestly kind of more hurt that Meruem was basically looked over and we got Beastki instead. All Might makes sense, and so does Bakugo, but at the same time, I feel like with how massive My Hero is, and again, this is supposed to represent 50 years of Shonen Jump, and My Hero is like the next big series. From the start, we should have had Deku and at least All Might, or Deku and Bakugo, and maybe have that third character as a DLC option. Instead, we got Deku, and then they saved the rest for DLC because they knew that would sell. They absolutely knew that would sell. But I don't know. I mean, again, at least they're original, so it's not that big of a deal. But still, like, come on, man. One character, like Deku was the only character that made it from My Hero in the base roster. Are you kidding me? With how massive the series is? Whatever. Then we got Majin Buu. Now, as a Dragon Ball fan, when Cell was announced, my first option was,
why Cell and why Trunks?
in fact, why Cell at all? Why not do someone like Majin Buu instead? Because at least Majin Buu has a much more unique fight style than Cell does. Cell basically literally is a copy and paste from Piccolo, Cell, Goku, Vegeta, all the fighters in the drama universe, because that's how this character was made. Granted, his character is very, very unique, Jump Force, so it's not like a copy and paste character, but you know what I'm talking about. Majin Buu would have been a much better option if you're going to have to add another like iconic character from the Dragon Ball villain side of the universe. And before you ask, what about Broly? Broly's not a manga character. I mean, technically, Dragon Ball Super Broly is now a manga character because he was acknowledged in the Dragon Ball Super manga, but the other characters like Broly, Janemba weren't. So this is all based on the manga characters, so Buu makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, why Majin Buu? I guarantee you a lot of us who are playing this game right now will be willing to trade Majin Buu for any other character. Hell, I'll even trade him for Hiei. And Hiei was in the last game. And I would be kind of upset if Hiei was a DLC, but at the same time, I'll be happy because I like Hiei. He is a great character. And instead, we're getting Majin Buu. I don't understand. Law, I think, is a fantastic option, but my only issue or qualm with another One Piece character is That's another One Piece character. No hate to One Piece. Law is one of my favorite characters from the series. You know, yes, by the way, I have consumed One Piece before. I read all the way through Dressrosa. I watched through Dressrosa. I just kind of stopped at the time because I got really, really busy, and then I never really caught up again. But Law was one of my more favorite characters, and I feel like Law, if I had to choose one more character from the One Piece universe to add into the game, it definitely would be Law. But then again, the problem is why are we getting more One Piece characters when literally we already had like, what, 7? 6? So now we have a total of 7 or 8 if you include this DLC. This is not 50 years of Shonen Jump. This is basically 50 years of, hey, One Piece, Dragon Ball, and then I guess Bleach as well. I don't know. That's my biggest qualm with it. It's not the fact that they chose the specific characters that they chose, except for Biscuit, because fuck Biscuit. But it was more about, this is supposed to represent what Weekly Shonen Jump was for the last 50 years, and it definitely isn't. And after seeing the base roster, the last hope that I had for this game personally was, well, maybe the DLC can be fire. And here we are. Yep. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe I'm just like trying to make this game more than it actually is. Again, Jump Force is supposed to represent just one of those fun anime fighters you get home from work or school, whatever, and you fight against your friends with your favorite characters. And I feel like I try to want more out of it, and we're not gonna get that. At least they're trying to work on fixing the game, like fixing the load times and issuing patches like that. So again, as I mentioned in my last video, the big issues with the game isn't something that patch can't fix, but you can fix DLC like this. I don't know. I mean, they did mention if the DLC sells well, they'll probably consider more, which could be something that we can explore down the road. But for now, I'm not a fan of the Season 1. With that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about, number 1, what you think about this list, and 2, which characters you would love to see yourself on this list. And I guess we'll try to have a civil conversation about this. But I feel like out of everything that happened with Jump Force in the past year, from the day it was revealed to today, this is probably going to have the community split by far the most, because again, some of you guys will love this list, some of you guys will hate this list, and some will just not even care and go play something else, me being one of those people. I don't know. I'm just waiting for a rematch option. Once we get a rematch option online, I'll probably play the game a lot more, but until then, it's just kind of annoying to have to go back to the lobby every single time. But hey, at least the load screen is a lot less now as far as time, so baby steps. With that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about 50 years of Weekly Shonen Jump via Jump Force, and what you think about this character roster, as well as what you would love to see instead. By the way, something else to point out, in Sergio's video, he found some more data in regards to being able to play as Galena, the final boss, and Kane. And I don't know if they're going to give those characters to us as free DLC or something, but there's some kind of data representing a playable version of those characters. I have no idea what this means. And again, something else to point out, for all we know, this could be just scrap plans that they had in the past, and the DLC list will be completely different. I have no clue, but this is all what was data mined by Sergio. His video is in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.